Yo, what's good, Josh? Your boy FX Jerry. Hey, we back at it with another video. Again, it's the typical usual update on how the account is going. Last week, recap, it was a pretty good week. We ended up passing phase 1 quite slowly. Took a month, took much longer than I expected, but we ended up passing in pretty much good fashion because we stayed in profit the whole time. We never went below the initial balance, which is always good. Now, this week, phase 2, it's a little interesting. Phase 2 is a little bit more interesting due to the fact, well, we passed phase 2 in 2 days. I'm just saying. Why did it take 2 days for phase 2 and 1 month for phase 1? All good though, we're done, cool, done, you know? I'm just saying, it's fantastic, I know. Clap it up, thank you. I know, I'm great, I'm a great trader, I know. This is how we passed phase 2 in basically 1 week. Starting off with Monday, the balance started off with $100,900. That was basically the initial balance of the week. Monday started off quite simple. We started off with AUD NZD with a nice little sell on the breakout structure. Now, we didn't get the breakout structure at first, but I seen this beautiful confirmation that I actually really did like. It was pretty much prices below this area of interest. High time frame wise, it's beautiful. It had a switch. I identified the switch, and now I'm switching down to the sell, preferably than the buy. But once price breaks below this area of interest, I'm in. But I seen a better entry, and as you can see on the screen, the yellow line is an alternate entry. The yellow line is typically the better entry, but it's more risky. Let me show you why it's more risky. This trade was more risky due to the fact that it was a potential opportunity for price to actually go the other way. Mind you, price needs to break below the red zone on the 4-hour time frame because that was the time frame price struggled to break through. Once that happens, retest continuation, that's the sell. If we lose, we lose. If we win, we win. Ideally, that's sticking to the strategy. The yellow zone was an alternate area of interest that allows me to get in earlier to get more profits out of the trade. So with this, I decided to enter basically around London session with a 7 lot. This was around 1:45 in the morning, and I entered in a 7 lot. Here is the explanation video in my free Telegram. All right, so I'm gonna do a little different. I'm gonna throw like little minute snippets of what I'm doing in the trade's progression. So as you can see, we had this huge push, and if you know about news, if there is a huge push like this, price typically comes back down unless there's just a huge follow-up, which is fine. But price continued to go up. Price is bullish. Price is now bearish because it had this huge switch in structure. So we're looking for price to continue on the downside after it comes back up to original breakup structure, which is here. This is the first area. This is the second area, which is a midpoint, and this is the actual area of interest. I was going to wait for the breakup structure in the retest, but I seen the opportunity of the 4-hour giving a doji, looking for a potential continuation to the downside, and that's what I'm expecting. So I am playing defense at 9 a.m. as you know, if you've seen from the last post, I play defense when shit goes south. Okay, so if price does not close below here at 9 a.m., I'm going to probably lower the stop loss to here, which is probably going to be like $500. Realistically, it doesn't need any more than what it's been doing. So it doesn't really need any more than this, in my opinion. But obviously, we're leaving it here until price closes below. So I'll leave you with another update in a little bit. So after explaining basically the during in that situation, rolling over to Tuesday was the same. Price has refused to break below zone. Price has done nothing, and I'm still waiting for price to break below. Hours and hours and hours later, now my trading Aikido decided to kick in and just tell me, just like, bro, like, if price don't break below this 4-hour zone, I'm probably gonna get out. So the last straw ended up being drawn around 7 o'clock due to the fact that price just, after the 5 o'clock reset, price still hasn't broken below. And I was completely over it just due to the fact that I'm still in this trade. Price has still yet to do the only thing I required for the real sell compared to the alternate entry. Price has yet to break below this zone. So now we have a problem. Because it's 12, 14, 16 hours later and price has still yet to break below this zone, now I kind of want to get out. And there's nothing wrong with that because I'm doing the trading. This is my decision that I decided to make. So I ended up closing this trade only due to the fact that it's just playing so much. Obviously, it's different from me. Listen, we all trade differently. I don't mind closing trades here and there, but as you can see, price is really being held up very well with this area of interest. So I'm actually going to wait to see how it reacts on the closure below. Once price closes below it, listen, I'm in now and I'm very confident in holding it. So I'm going to wait for this because at this point, stalling for what? A full 18 hours is crazy. So I was not intending on being in this trade for this long. So the trade still stands here. There is an alternate solution, alternate way this can go as well. Price could just be stalling until price can go upwards. That's also another thing. This is a high time frame area of interest. So if price gets up here, and I'm not surprised. So again, I'm not going to continuously wait. I am a day trader / swing trader. It could go both ways, but as of right now, as you can see, price, I got in right here. It took forever to do something. 16 hours is ridiculous. So I'm going to just do my thing and just wait because nothing else is really happening. So that's the move. I'm just gonna wait for the close. This is all I'm waiting for. Realistically, this is all I'm waiting for. That was my original reason, so now I'm gonna wait for that. So once price closes, I'm gonna put another alert on the retest for continuation. That's it. I'm just getting irritated. This trade's pissing me off. So I exit out the trade, broke even about $20, $30, $40. 1 hour later, price shoots up. What did I tell you? I'm hum.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
End up moving on to my other pair that I was watching out the whole week. Actually, last week I was watching this pair and it was so beautiful. This pair was USD CHF. USD CHF was lurking around a high time frame area of interest, and because it's a high time frame area of interest, I know I had to give it a few days before price actually wanted to play out. Now mind you, I explained all of this in my free Telegram, and I'm glad I have an open Telegram now, because before it was private and I'd be like, oh, I told you so. No, now it's public and I say everything prior before it happens, and I predict it to the T. Obviously I'm still wrong sometimes, but most of the time I am definitely on the money with these predictions, and it's beautiful. It feels good when you explain it. So price ended up getting above this area of interest on the 4 hour, on the smaller time frames, but the higher time frame, it was still showing signs that it can potentially be a sell. I was not waiting for the close below on the daily. I was waiting for the close below the 4, because the 4 had more weight than the daily, due to the fact that daily was in the mix of the zone. Because it was in the mix of the zone, it did not have my interest of waiting for the daily. I was waiting for the 4 hour instead. So on Wednesday, this is the trade I waited all week for. I'm hoping and waiting that this trade is just going to shoot down and give me all the profit I need. Guess what happened? I entered the trade. I decided to enter the trade 1 hour before the 4 hour close, due to the fact that it's close enough for me to realize that this is probably going to be real. Now, the confirmation that made me really get in was the 1 hour. Going from time frame sync. Time frame sync is very important when it comes down to trading like this. Trading like this, time frame sync allowed me to get in 1 hour prior before the 4 hour closed. And because I got in, it was a push below area of interest, while the 4 hour is below area of interest heavily. It didn't close yet, but it's heavily below zone. The hour has pulled back. The hour has had a continuation, and I entered on the continuation to the downside, and the smaller time frames helped me confirm that as well. Here is the explanation. I'm gonna quickly explain this one too, because I really do like USD CHF. High time frame area of interest, you see body closes everywhere on the weekly. You see daily closes, daily retests. It's an area of interest, high time frame area of interest. And if you look at the line chart, very clear. Look at the weekly line chart, very clear. It's self-explanatory. So go on the 4 hour, where I am waiting for price to 1, react, 2, show me it's either going to be a deep retest or this retest. And to make it clear, this is an alternate entry. That color is an alternate entry. Red is sell and blue is buy, because you typically see them on most of my charts. It helps clarify what I need to kind of want to do, and it shows that, like, it just makes things easier. So this is a sell here. This is the main sell I'm looking at right here, and this is a deep retrace that can be the best entry possible, but it will be a more risky entry because it's not giving me the deep retrace. Typically is the more riskier entry, but the higher reward entry. This is the normal entry, which I actually hope it goes for the deep retest, so it can actually give us really valid data that price potentially could just easily do something like this, because that's the best type of trade to get in. It's self-explanatory. So I'm hoping price goes up to the deep retrace so we can potentially just wait for real data. But if it's self-explanatory, the sell will just be self-explanatory, because this is self-explanatory. Like, I hope I get funded with this trade so I can just take this trade on a funding account, and I will let that rock out with 139 pips. Like, honestly, this is a self-explanatory trade. But after I got in the trade, I was a little on edge, but my stop loss was very good. It was above the body close prior, and it was allowing me to actually have a good stop loss and a pretty good take profit. The R to R was about a 1 to 4, I believe so. $900 to $1,000 to potentially make everything that I need, which is $4,100. Once I got in, price played around for a little bit, shot down heavily. I felt so good because now I know that the 4 hour is validated. Once I knew the 4 hour was validated, I can go to sleep, because guess what? It was London session. So I went to sleep, woke back up, looked at the chart. I was in heavy profit. Seeing this made me feel so good, because I'm just like, I told you so, because it's in my free Telegram. Join the free Telegram. I ended up taking a 6 lot on this trade, and it ended up being $4,092. Beautiful setup. And if this platform that I'm continuously using still has these small commissions, best believe I'm sticking with these people. So Wednesday seemed like the holy grail day, because not only did I make $4,090, that was the amount I needed to pass phase 2. Everything is good to go. Everything looks beautiful. Until I realized one small problem. I needed one more profitable day. Because they just implemented this rule last week. I seen the email. It didn't show up on my phase 1 because it was in the process, but phase 2 needed one more trade to pass phase 2. Now, this is where it became more challenging, because it became judgment day. Are you going to finish and be a funded trader, or are you going to fail miserably? So I lock in. Now, although I thought I was done, because I just made $4,100, I was put my gear back on, and I went back to war. Thursday was judgment day. Thursday was the make or break day. I also had Friday. I hop on the computer. It's London session. First session that can potentially pass my account. We started off quite bad. I'm gonna be honest. USD on the finish of our trade, price still kept melting and broke below the support, the TP zone. It almost retested zone, but it didn't get there yet. But it looked like it was going to have a continuation. Therefore, I ended up selling that. I went for the same risk I usually do, around 1,000 or around 900, 700, 1,000, to potentially just make 500. I want to say it was a mistake, but was it? In that situation, price started going down. It was in profit of $250, half of what I needed. And then price went back up violently. Price ended up going up $400, and I seen that. I was like, I made a mistake. So I closed it. I closed the trade and ended up losing $452. One of my first mistakes on this account, realistically, because I was sharp the whole time. And then when it came down to that last little bit, one more criteria that needs to be fulfilled, I screwed up. So I lost that trade. But I have good news for you. That trade melted an hour later, like 100 pips. It made no sense. It made no sense. For the rest of 3 hours, I had to not only be careful, but be very, very specific on what I do. So that whole London session, I was basically scalping. Same exact strategy, same exact approach, different time frames. Therefore, I went from day trading / swing trading to scalping. Same thing, different time frame. Shout out to all my scalpers out there. To be completely honest with you, scalping is the most stressful thing known to man. When people say trading is stressful, they are talking about scalping, okay? I don't know how y'all do it. Y'all got it. The next few trades was basically me trying to make, now I need to make $1,000 because I lost 400, and plus I need an extra 500 to potentially pass with the $500 initial profitable day. So for the whole time, the whole London session, I brought the account back to exactly where it was. And I had one more trade to fulfill. I still need the $500. I had a few chances. Everything happened so fast. I couldn't get in because I was hesitant because I kept on taking my profits early at 200, 200, 200, 200, and then I'm pretty much back. But it just shocked me. It's like everything is happening so fast. I'm used to like the hour, waiting an hour, pull back, continuation. No, this was like 5 minute, close to a minute territory because there is no trades. There are no setups. I could have waited until next week, but next week is NFP. So before I made a mistake, I closed my potential odd trades. Closed them out, closed everything out. I said, go to bed, wake up in New York session. New York session has a lot of volume, try to get something there. It came down to this. London session was over. New York session is now here. I am looking for a trade to potentially take in New York session. New York session is fast, volatile, spikes, wicks. So I was being careful. Make sure my strategy is on point. Make sure the pairs is on point. So I stuck with pretty much the fast pairs. It was Euro JPY and USD CHF. Those were the only two that had potential. Everything else was gone. Everything else was trendy. Everything else, there was no temporary trades. There were no long-term trades. There was literally nothing. If you would have got in, you're literally going in with the trend and hoping it continues to go downwards when it's already plummeting or going against it. It made no sense. I stayed away from that. Those are the only two pairs that was moving up and down and moving at a high time frame area of interest where I could potentially, allegedly, make a little bit of money. I seen this trade on Euro JPY. It left. I was there. I was that close. But price was moving so fast. It was moving for scalpers. It was moving at 50 pips at a time, 60 pips at a time. And then from that 1 hour time frame, I think it moved like 80, 90 pips. And it left me in the dust. What do you want me to do with that? So therefore, I left that alone. Cool, fine, whatever. But I seen this one setup. It was not the clearest. It wasn't the best, but it did the job. I saw this trade for USD CHF, and it allowed me to potentially and just maybe make the money I need. So I went for the buy. I went for it. Price closed above this temporary zone that was on like the 15 minute. It looks good. The 4 hour closed. Everything's good. It's like around 9 o'clock. Everything's good. My heart is racing. My heart hasn't raced as fast as Thursday in that trade since probably 2022, 2023, one of those years. Because the way I trade doesn't allow me to be scared. But this one finally did what I needed. After recovering my losses, after slowly crawling back, it showed me that if you just stick to what you know and just turn off your emotions, it does not matter how you trade. That's why I say shout out to all the scalpers. Y'all got it. I want no smoke. This trade ended up making me $526, exactly what I needed. I was $10 over what I needed, which was perfect. And it allowed me to officially pass phase 2.